Now, on Palm Beach TV, a view from Washington. The chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee gives the Palm Beach Civic Association an inside look as part of our signature series.
We're now in a world, that's no longer relatively peaceful like the late 90s. It's one of complex and complicated confrontation across the globe.
Plus, understanding the link between human exposure to toxic environmental chemicals and diseases.
We really need to step back and ask some basic questions about how we regulate pesticides and the basic assumptions we've made about chemicals in our environment.
Those stories straight ahead.
The Palm Beach Civic Association brings you Palm Beach TV, the island's only newscast. We're sponsored by the Fortin Foundation of Florida. Now the news.
We're very pleased to have the senator with us this morning.
Thanks, Mike.
Jack Reed, the senior senator from Rhode Island and chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, shared insight on a broad range of topics during his discussion with Palm Beach Civic Association chairman and CEO Michael Pucillo, who served as moderator before a Civic Association audience.
I think it is vital to have speakers of this caliber down here in Palm Beach, because what it does is it makes sure that every individual in this room and everyone they're going to talk to when they leave here this morning is going to have a fuller sense of what some of the challenges our military is facing right now, what some of the opportunities are, but also what some of the worry spots are.
Pucillo inquired about many of those worry spots and challenges.
Are we still this nation that has this vast military power, the munitions, the armaments, the ability to project itself as it has for many decades?
Well, the first priority of the Department of Defense and of the presidency is to maintain adequate resources to carry out all of our campaign plans. So we look before we give away equipment, do we need it first? The Russian invasion of Ukraine, now with the Israeli fight for its freedom, and all those other factors have really shown us that we need to increase our stockpiles, and we also need to increase our ability to manufacture in the United States.
Senator Reed also addressed China as an adversary as it bolsters the production of warheads.
Are we in an era where there's a change in terms of who our major adversaries in the world will be? Are we transitioning from Russia to China? And is that something that is going to, in your view, continue, and ultimately that China will become the greater concern for the United States?
Well, I think you're absolutely correct. It's now described as the pacing threat, the one that we have to adjust to, and it sets the tempo of what we're doing and how we're doing it. Russia, has significant nuclear weapons, but they don't have the capacity that China has, both economic and also technical capacity.
In addition to discussing military structure, overseas operations, and defense, the senator also discussed the emotional toll on those who serve.
You have been involved in legislation for providing additional funds for mental health services.
From 9/11 on, the pace of deployments has been excruciating. And that puts huge pressure on individual members of the armed services and their families. We can't forget their families. And so we're seeing now an increase in suicide. We're seeing mental health problems. We're also understanding much more thoughtfully the effect of exposures to toxic chemicals.
The senator also says he was active in passing a new 24-hour lifeline number, 988, which is available to people in emotional distress or suicidal crisis.
And in 988, we have designed it so that if you call and you identify yourself as a veteran, you will be switched in less than a minute to a counselor who is a veteran or is fully prepared to deal with veterans' problems. We have to take care of our troops. They're the best in the world, and the best resource we have.
This program was the first of 3 Civic Association signature series engagements this season, featuring thought-provoking speakers.
Certainly thrilled to be a part of the Palm Beach Civic Association. I think it's been the folks that you all have brought in to speak are just phenomenal. I never imagined, getting what I would get today, and it's extremely enlightening.
The Civic Association's Speakers Committee prioritizes selecting dynamic and engaging individuals.
With us this morning are 5 members of the Speakers Committee: Civic Association Chairman Michael Pucillo, and Civic Association Directors Austin Fragaman, Reuben Jeffrey, Cynthia Friedman, and David Duffy.
The 2024 Speaker Series also featured Paul Tudor Jones, founder of Tudor Investment Corporation, co-founder of the Everglades Foundation, and a Civic Association director. An overview of his address coming up in a future newscast. Then, on February 27th, the Signature Series continues with featured speaker David Rockefeller Jr., a prominent environmentalist, businessman, and philanthropist. The Civic Association's Signature Speaker Series engagements are sponsored by the Stanley M. Runbo Jr. Legacy Society through a gift from the late Cynthia Van Buren. Another program not to be missed, Where Have All the Songbirds Gone 3, the third informational program about restoring a healthy, toxin-free Palm Beach. On Monday, February 5th, the Palm Beach Civic Association and other community organizations are jointly sponsoring this program. In this public program, premier medical professionals invited to speak by members of the Civic Association's Environmental Committee will address the link between human exposure to toxic chemicals and neurological diseases.
And there are things that we can do to prevent disease and prevent those disabilities today. We know enough. We don't need new research. By reducing exposures to pesticides and other toxic chemicals,
learn more about those changes when Dr. Lanphier, along with Dr. Ray Dorsey, take part in the Where Have All the Songbirds Gone Forum, again on February 5th. This complimentary program will take place at Palm Beach Town Hall beginning at 2 p.m. Learn more about all of our programs and forums at palmbeachcivic.org. That's it for this edition of Palm Beach TV, the island's only newscast. We also invite you to stay up to date 24/7 by following the Palm Beach Civic Association online and on social media. We'll see you next time.
Palm Beach TV is a production of the Palm Beach Civic Association. We thank our sponsor, the Fortin Foundation of Florida, and encourage you to let us know how we can provide news coverage that best serves our members and residents.